We talked a little bit about like, screw what society says, do what makes you happy. And for some people listening, they're like, well, that's a lot easier said than done because like my parents want this for me and they'll freak out if I want something different. So because you talked about your mom like reading 50 Shades of Grey. So how do your families fit into all this? Because people ask me all the time, oh my God, does your whole family must know now that you have this podcast? And I had to come out to my parents, about being bisexual and, also now identifying more as queer and then like being polyamorous, and they've met like my girlfriend, Lauren. So do your parents know? I mean, obviously you have this podcast. What's that been like?
We wanted to, when we started the podcast, I was like, okay, it's probably time to tell them about this. Cause we had been non-monogamous for about probably 3.5, almost 4 years at this point. So it was like very recent that we were like, okay, we started the podcast. I'm like, I should probably let them know.
Yeah, because the whole world's about to know.
So I would say my mom was actually pretty accepting of it. My father was not. We actually did like a whole episode on it, but it was showing them sides of me like that they never knew. And, for a long time, I was definitely kind of like, my dad's a pilot. I got my pilot's license. I followed a lot into like the footsteps of like the career that he did because he inspired that for me. And I think for him, he's a very traditional person. So seeing, the daughter that, out of the 5 of us, I was the only one that got my pilot's license. So seeing the daughter that, kind of followed in his footsteps, all of a sudden turned to very non-traditional things, he kind of freaked out a little bit. And so that relationship is maybe on the mend. But it was a hard thing to do. My mom at least was very accepting, and she was like, I'm just happy that you're happy, and, whatever fulfills you, like go that route. So it very different reactions. And I think that's just what's going to happen. But I understand all the time people want to make their parents happy. I totally get that. And it's not that I have a bad relationship with my parents, but I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I love them, I respect them, but they are human. They make their own mistakes, and I'm also human, and I'm not on this earth just to please them. So that was a big thing for me and a big realization. And I think something that everyone has to keep in mind, like, yes, they gave us life, but like, we're not obligated to live that life for them and what put ourselves in the box that they wanted us to go in.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. I don't know if they know I'm kinky.
That is so well said too, by the way. Thank you.
I called my mother the other day, very excited because we had gotten a brand deal.
You guys?
We had it was a one-time brand product promotion with a brand.
It was fun. It was vibrators. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, congrats.
And I got a ton of free vibrators.
Yes.
I was like, Mom, I got vibrators. And she was like, oh my God. And I was like, do you want me to send you one? She was like, actually, yeah. And I was like, I'll bring you one. So
nice.
Yes. So that was a lovely conversation. I do have to say, I'm very appreciative of our mother for, I don't think she's ever listened to the podcast, and I kind of hope she doesn't.
I told them not to listen to it because I talk about all the weird shit I'm into, and I'm like, don't listen. I talk about my sex life.
I was like, Mom, just err on the side of aloof. Just know it's out
Ignorance
there.
is bliss.
Just support us. That's all I need. Please don't listen to it.
That's
I don't need her to know that I call someone daddy.
That's interesting because my mom does listen to my show, and
really?
Same. I was like, I don't know if I want them to like really tune in, but the cool thing is, and it sounds like in your case too, it's almost like opened her up and like brought you a little bit closer in this way of like, I have these vibrators, and I'm going to bring you one. My mom never really talked to me about sex, and now every now and then she'll call and like comment on an episode and then tell me something about herself, and I'm like, Mom, like,
okay, there you go.
Yes, which is cool. It almost like I'm like, oh my God, do I want her listening because she's gonna want to talk to me about her sex life? But I do. It's like part of the reason that I love having a show that talks about sex is because it can destigmatize all of these things that we've like put in this box of wrong, bad, and taboo. And it's like, actually, no, this is like how we have life on this planet. So it's pretty sacred, but also like, let's destigmatize.
Yeah.
All
it can
of
be
it.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's also realizing like with your parents and stuff, it's like Niki said, they're human. They also have sex. They also masturbate.
Yeah.
You don't want to think about that, but it happens. Like we all do it.
I also think like, when it comes to like relationships with parents, people really forget to do this all the time because we idolize our parents, right? We look at them, they're like, they gave us life. They're the people that we looked up to when we were younger. Like that was like our example of what, adulthood should look like. And whatever that example looked like, that's how you think it's going to be. And like, they never really talked to us about sex. When they found out I started having sex, they weren't thrilled. And they like, so in a way I kind of thank them because my like defiance to them was like what really sparked a lot of like my journeys, like in my sexuality and, like non-monogamy and everything. I was like, I looked at them and I'm like, I don't think this is how it should be. So not that they have like a bad marriage or anything, but or that they were bad parents. They were great parents. But a lot of times the way they were like, this is how this is. I'm like, I'm going to question that. And then that's like what put me on those journeys. But I think everyone forgets, like, take your parents off that pedestal. Love them, appreciate them, notice that they're human. They're going to have those flaws. And then once you leave their household, turn around and look at everything they fucked up and fix it for yourself. Like they're not there anymore to fix it. Like now you got to do it yourself.
Yeah. So. It's really your responsibility to,
they did their
ownership.
best. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that.
And a lot of the times, like our mom had us at 18.
Yeah, she was.
She was very young, so she was still learning life along the way. While she had two, screaming little babies that looked a lot alike. I don't know how she didn't mix us up, but I always commend her because she was so young. We've watched her blossom into this wonderful woman who just inspires us in many ways. So
absolutely,
yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Shout out to your mom. I love her already.